Could a mysterious confrontation in tonight's Coronation Street episode be hinting that Theo Silverton is the victim of the show's latest murder mystery? This week, the ITV soap continues its series of flashback episodes, with the opening 4 focusing on Carla Connor and Lisa Swain's wedding. Each episode begins with the brides arriving at Underworld for the reception, before shifting to the perspective of one of the possible victims. Tonight's episode centers on Theo, who may be the body discovered by Betsy Swain in Friday's dramatic installment. Following the exposure of Theo's abusive behavior towards Todd Grimshaw, the pair have split. Todd has been preparing to leave for Thailand to visit his mother Eileen and brother Jason, while also attempting to distance himself from Theo. A tense confrontation unfolds in tonight's episode, ending with Theo being approached by an unidentified figure who grips his shoulder. Theo dismisses the moment, asking, "Am I supposed to be scared?" This raises the possibility that the encounter could eventually lead to his death and the discovery of his body on the cobbles. However, Theo is later seen again with Todd, suggesting the mysterious figure may need to track him down once more if he is to be killed. It also leaves open the possibility that Theo may survive, with attention instead shifting to other possible victims, including Carl Webster, Jody Ramsey, Megan Walsh, or Maggie Driscoll. The episode opens with Theo breaking into Todd's flat, attempting to make amends by preparing a meal, before the situation quickly turns hostile. Todd picks up a knife in self-defense just as George Shuttleworth arrives and tries to calm things down. George and Todd manage to create a diversion and overpower Theo, escaping the flat before he can cause further harm. Outside, they encounter police officer Kit Green and report the break-in, but when Kit enters the property, Theo has already vanished. Shaken by the ordeal, Todd books a taxi to the airport after learning Theo has not been arrested. However, panic sets in when he realizes he has left his phone behind and asks the driver to stop. His fear escalates when he steps into the street and comes face-to-face with Theo, who is holding the phone. As Todd tries to figure out how to escape Theo's grip on his life, the question remains, will the mysterious stranger be the one to change everything, or is this only the beginning of something far more dangerous? Coronation Street actor Jonathan Howard has revealed that he would not be upset if his character Carl Webster is written out during this week's dramatic episodes. Carl is among 5 characters currently at risk as the ITV soap unfolds its major murder mystery storyline. The Weatherfield troublemaker is one of several possible victims, alongside Jody Ramsey, Maggie Driscoll, Megan Walsh, and Theo Silverton. The identity of the person leaving the show will not be confirmed until Friday, 1st of May, when Betsy Swain discovers a dead body. Ahead of that, Tuesday's episode, 28th April, revisits Carla and Lisa's wedding day, shown through Carl's viewpoint. With so many enemies left behind in Weatherfield, his survival appears uncertain. In a recent interview, Jonathan said, "I was actually hoping Carl would be one of the potential victims. He's upset a lot of people in the street and hasn't exactly behaved well, so I expected he might be included among the 5 characters at risk. I'd feel proud if this was my exit because I've really enjoyed the experience." He added, "I'm incredibly thankful for the roles I've had and the cast I've worked with. If this turns out to be my time, I'd leave feeling very grateful." He continued, "I really appreciate the producers and writers. I've only been here about a year, and being part of the Corriedale storyline was a brilliant experience. As someone who grew up watching the show, it's always been the ultimate goal, so getting the chance to play this character and be part of big storylines has meant a lot." In Tuesday's episode, Carl attempts to clear up unfinished business before leaving Weatherfield. However, he ends up clashing with several residents, including Abby Webster, Kevin Webster, Theo Silverton, and Tyrone Dobbs, potentially giving each of them a reason to want revenge. When asked if he has tried to bring depth to Carl, Jonathan explained, "Absolutely. I've had to understand him and see things from his point of view. If someone grew up not knowing their family and feeling abandoned, that would shape who they become. I try to reflect that while still following what's written." I also look for small moments where he shows kindness or a desire to be accepted. As several storylines build toward dramatic breaking points, it has become obvious that life in Weatherfield is about to change forever. A group of notorious figures, including Megan Walsh, Jody Ramsey, Carl Webster, Theo Silverton, and Maggie Driscoll, are all set to face consequences for their actions, with one of them expected to meet a deadly end. For the Platt family, the situation becomes even more intense as Shona's sister Jody continues to embed herself within their lives, bringing major consequences for everyone involved. Among the 5 potential victims, Jody remains the most unpredictable. Nearly everything she says later turns out to be carefully constructed deception, and her real motive, beyond destroying Shona's life, still remains unknown. Since her escape from Graham Foster's van during the chaos in Corriedale, she has firmly established herself at number 8, quietly influencing the Platt household, manipulating Lily, while aggressively pursuing David. When she is not focused on damaging Shona's life, she has also targeted others in the community. She breaks into Bernie Winter's home and damages wedding photos, steals a book from Brian Packham, and uses Lisa Swain's police badge to take an iPad, all while collecting disturbing keepsakes in her personal box. Her string of behavior eventually faces a challenge when Olivia, someone she once cared for as a nanny, arrives in Weatherfield. Although Olivia is initially happy to reconnect, she is quickly warned off after being told a fabricated story involving murder and witness protection. However, Olivia refuses to back down and continues searching for a hard drive belonging to her father. Under pressure, Jody claims she took it for protection, explaining that Olivia's father is her violent ex-partner and that the device is the only thing keeping her safe. After 2 associates learn from Olivia that she has failed to retrieve the hard drive, one insists her father will decide what happens next. Soon after, Shona is left terrified when she is confronted outside her home. Jody eventually hands over the hard drive. Despite previously urging her to leave to protect her family, Shona asks her to stay. For a brief moment, it seems reconciliation between the sisters may be possible, until Jody discovers proof that Shona received her earlier plea for help and ignored it. She then ends up alone on the precinct, isolated from family and support, leaving her exposed ahead of a likely confrontation. Next week, the street is shaken by news of a murder, while Kit Green and Lisa lead the investigation, determined to uncover who is responsible as fear spreads among residents. Number 8 becomes a scene of devastation, with Shona struggling to cope and relying heavily on David as they remain trapped in a wrecked home. As forensic results come in, David is forced to reveal a dark secret he has been hiding, a confession that threatens to tear them apart. He later brings evidence to the police and, after tensions rise over Jody's past behavior, suggests they must tell everything they know. Before they can act, Shona is hit by another shocking revelation. Has Jody's plan finally come to an end, or is everything only just beginning? Coronation Street is broadcast on ITV1 on weeknights at 8:30 p.m. and is also available to stream on ITVX.